I'm here in Rexford, New York to get a look at the work of illustrator Marcus Kwame Anderson. Let's go.
I work in a few different styles. I love to paint and do what I think, if you had to put it in a box, what people would term fine art. But I also really love illustration. I love telling stories. When I was little, my cousin introduced me to comic books, and I was hooked. Like, you know, I would look at them. I didn't just read them, I would look at them and I would study them and look at the, you know, title page as far as like who the different creators were, pencilers, inkers, letterers. So I thought backwards and I would just try to figure out like how these books came to be. Most kids draw and color and love to create things. I just never stopped. I went to college for illustration, not specifically comics, so I kind of got a broader view of the arts. One of the things that I oftentimes really try to communicate in my work is, you know, a love of, like, you know, Black people, Black culture, etc. And it came from a need to I think, like, provide like positive images when, you know, society oftentimes is not doing that. It shows up in my paintings, in a lot of my drawings, in my fine art work. Ten years ago, a good friend of mine, we decided to start a self-published comic book together. Snow Days was really the starting point for me as an adult creating comics. And as soon as I did it, I was like, okay, all right, I also want to make this a part of my career, my work. Comics kind of energized me to begin drawing and getting into art. And so I really felt blessed when I could do that as part of my career. After that, I had an opportunity to work on a graphic novel series for kids. It's an all-ages detective story about two junior high detectives named Cash and Carry, and that was a lot of fun. And you know, it was a different style of comic. Snow Days is black and white. Cash and Carry is full color. It's about kids. You know, it's a little bit more of a Saturday morning cartoon type vibe. From Cash and Carry, I went on to most recently work on the Black Panther Party graphic novel history. It's a project that is definitely really near and dear to my heart. I worked on it with David Walker. Even before working with him, he was one of my favorite authors and writers. The Black Panther Party, for those who don't know, was a group of Black people who organized around the ideas of social, racial, and economic justice in the community. You know, there's a lot of images that people have in their head of the party of just being, you know, militant people with guns and berets. But, you know, there was so much more to the party as far as, like, you know, starting breakfast programs, health programs specifically in, you know, Black communities, you know, that were facing economic challenges. The Panthers' history is very complex and misunderstood, so we really wanted to use the book as an opportunity to give people a full picture. So my style on the Black Panther Party in particular, I wanted to have something that was more realistic. I wanted to, first of all, make sure I was capturing people's likenesses so they'd be recognizable. One of the challenges with doing a comic like the Black Panther Party is there's a need to capture the likeness, but capture it over and over and over again, you know, from multiple angles, and kind of turn this real life figure who I'm keeping recognizable into a cartoon character, basically a comic book character. I would do a lot of like designs and drawings of them and try to boil down like what are the most distinguishing features for each person. So it was basically translating each person into my style and figuring out how to represent them repeatedly and consistently. A lot of my work deals with Black history, and it's very much a part of me and a part of what I do. So in order to be able to marry that with my interest in comic books, you know, like that was like perfect to me. I'm very excited that David Walker and I have another big graphic novel, also with 10 Speed Press, that we'll be working on later this year. That one's even longer than the Black Panther Party, so I definitely have my work cut out for me, but I'm looking forward to it.